Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually going to be a part 2 to the video I did before about the red flags you should be looking for in a relationship. And if you didn't see part 1, I will be sure to link that in the comments below. So before we get into the video, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy these kind of advice type videos where I just talk to you guys about important stuff like this, and comment down below what else you'd like to see from me in the future. And let's get on to the video. Okay, so I did mention that this was a part 2. However, it'll still make sense if you are watching them out of order. This isn't one of those type of videos where like you have to go watch part 1 before you watch part 2, or part 2 isn't gonna make any sense. This isn't like that. This is just basically more stuff I have for you related to the same topic. So if you're watching this one first and then you go watch part 1, that's like totally fine. If you've already seen part 1 and now you're watching this, that's also fine. Basically, it doesn't matter if you're watching these out of order because it will still make sense. I might reference a couple things I talked about in the last video, but in general, if you're watching them out of order, it won't really matter. Also, I want to clarify, if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes here on my iPad. I wrote them on my phone and then I texted them to myself so that I can see them on here, because that is easier than handwriting everything. And yeah, and then I've also got my drink with me. This is just a Pepsi from Taco Bell. Y'all know I'm a Coke lover at heart, but Taco Bell doesn't have Coke, and that's where we were for lunch today. So I was stuck with this. They do have a new like strawberry lemonade, I think it is. It's Dole lemonade. I didn't like that very much, so I just stuck with a Pepsi. So, I mean, it's not as good as Coke, but I'm not complaining because it's still a soda, so. If you see me sipping, that's what that is. So, yeah, I'm just going to pull up my first point here. And these are in no particular order. They're just some more stuff that I thought of. And it's also entirely possible that I will split this into 2 parts, because the last one was pretty long and I actually have more points in this video than I did in the last video about this. So this might be like a part 2, and then there might be like a part 2.1 or something. And yeah, so I will let you guys know later on in the video if it's looking like this is gonna be a part 2, or a 2-parter rather. All right, so let's jump right in. So we have, for our first one, you fight all the time about stupid things or stuff that shouldn't normally cause fights. This is obviously a big problem. If you and your significant other are constantly fighting about like stupid crap that shouldn't be a source of conflict in your relationship, then you need to seriously evaluate like what's going on. Are you just irritated by the other person? Is the other person easily irritated by you? Is it stuff that maybe it's a simple issue that shouldn't be an issue? It's just like a difference of personality, or maybe if you guys aren't speaking the same love language, there could be a number of things that are contributing to this, but you definitely need to evaluate what all is going on that's causing you to fight over something that you think is pointless to be fighting about. All right, and for the next point, we have expecting you to clean stuff that they don't keep clean themselves and then getting mad when you don't. So this is a big issue if they don't normally keep a tidy house. And again, this could be, for guys, this could be your girlfriend, and for girls, this could be your guy friend. I'm not saying or boyfriend rather, I know I said guy friend, but I'm not saying this is stereotypical of either gender. I'm not saying that. And I'll clarify if there's specific issues that I think are more stereotypical for guys to have this issue than for girls, or vice versa. If I feel that way about any of these, I will specify, but in most cases, this could happen with either party. But if he or she doesn't keep a clean home or a clean apartment or a clean dorm or whatever it is, and then like if they ask you to house sit for them while they're gone or something like that, and then they get home and they're like, oh, well, I was hoping you'd make the bed or something, and it didn't occur to you to make the bed because they never make the bed. Maybe they made the bed for you before you got there and you arrived and you're like, what the heck? They made the bed because you know that's really out of character for them or something. And then they're like, oh, you should have made the bed before you left. That's an issue if y'all are gonna be fighting about, what you didn't clean when it's something they don't ever clean, so why would they care? Then that's an issue that needs to be addressed. You need to just be like, hey, just be frank with them in a nice way. Just be like, I'm sorry, like it didn't occur to me to clean this or make the bed or whatever, because that's never clean whenever I come over here, or you never make the bed, so this shouldn't be a problem. And feel free to just be like, you know what, if you expect me to do this when I'm here, then you need to start doing it on your own when I'm not here. Because if you don't care enough to do this thing on your own, whatever it is, whether it's, wash the dishes or make the bed or clean up any particular thing, if you really care about that, if you care about me doing it, then you need to start doing it yourself, or I'm not going to. Because you shouldn't be required to clean stuff that they don't keep clean themselves. Because if they are harping on you for not cleaning it and it's something they don't care about cleaning when you're not there, that's really weird. So that is something that definitely needs to be addressed, because that can be a serious problem. Okay, and the next point, this is a big one. Claiming they want to take care of you, yet they can't take proper care of a pet or themselves. This is huge. If they're wanting to get married and they think that they're supposed to take care of you and that's their, that's their job, that's their duty, their responsibilities to take care of you, then they need to be able to show you that they're able take care of themselves. They need to be able to run a home. They need to be able to keep a tidy living space, and they certainly need to be able to take care of a pet, because if they can't even do that, how do you expect them to be able to take care of you if they can't feed their pet at the same time each day, or they just don't know how much to feed the pet, or it just seems like rocket science to get them to feed their pet properly. Then you need to seriously think about whether or not this is the type of person that you need to marry, because how are they supposed to take care of you if they can't take care of themselves or a pet? So please seriously think about that. If you notice any of this going on in your relationship, please seriously think about whether or not you want to be with this person long term. Okay, and next we have them being too dependent on you for stuff. Now, this can manifest itself in a lot of ways. This could be too dependent on you emotionally, to the point that they're treating you like their own personal therapist, which, of course, don't get me wrong, you want to be able to have that person that you can talk to for stuff, but it's probably a little less than healthy if they're coming to you with like all of their problems and depending on you to fix them. That's not a good thing. But also for other stuff, like I need you to help me clean, or I can't find my keys, or whatever. Now, again, there's a fine line. You should be willing to help the other person if they need it. There's a fine line between that. You don't want to be a jerk and never willing to help the other person. But you do have to learn to recognize when are you doing something nice for them and when are you letting them depend on you for things. You don't want to get to a point where they know you'll help them because they know you won't say no. You don't want to be wrapped around their finger to the point where they know you're gonna help. So they know, oh, I don't have to clean this because so-and-so will help. Or it doesn't matter if I lose my keys because so-and-so will help. You do not want to let it get to that point, or if they forget something important they needed to bring with them and they know you'll go get it for them, even if it's out of your way. You don't want to get to that point either. Now, if there's an emergency and they're known for usually being really good at remembering to bring stuff and they forgot, that's one thing. By all means, help them out. If you're like, oh wow, this is really unlike him or her to forget their laptop and I know they have a class project today and they need to work on it, by all means, help them out and bring them their stuff. As long as it fits with your schedule, I mean, by all means, help them out. If they've lost their keys and wow, that's really not like them. They're always on top of things and know where everything is. By all means, help them find their keys. By all means, help them. You just have to draw the line, like I said, between being nice and helping them out and letting them depend on you for everything. Now, this is a thing that I think is more stereotypical of guys, is the thing with losing their keys. My ex had this problem and I checked with one of my coworkers and she said that her fiance had the same problem. Just losing track of their keys and then needing help finding them. So if that's a thing, or whatever it is that they commonly lose, it's certainly, good if you want to be like, hey, why don't you always keep your keys here when you get home, and then you're less likely to lose them. It's certainly healthy to offer suggestions that could help your significant other not lose track of their stuff routinely. That's always good. Of course, if they don't want to listen to you and accept your help, then that's a whole different problem in and of itself. But yeah, definitely you need to know where to draw the line between helping somebody out and letting them depend on you for everything, because you do not want it to get to the point where they're using you to do their stuff for them. And especially, that's the thing you have to look for too. Does he or she really need my help, or could he or she do it themselves? That's one thing. But then you also have to look at, okay, he or she could get up and go get it themselves, but when was the last time I was nice and did it for them? Was it 20 minutes ago or last month? Because they usually are the one doing it. That's the thing to look at. You don't want to be going out of your way to do stuff for them every day if they could be doing it themselves. All right, next we have if they don't prioritize you. So this is obviously a problem if your significant other is like always busy with school or whatever, and they don't give you the attention that you need and that you deserve. That's a problem. So if they are, it's one thing if they're always busy with school, but they should still be able to find a way to fit you into their schedule. So like maybe, hey, I really have to study tonight, but hey, do you want to come over and you could work on crafts, or you could read a book or whatever while I study, and we could at least be together, you know, that would be good, versus never having any time for you. I mean, if they really value you, then they're going to make time for you. So you want to look at that whether you're seriously dating someone or pursuing marriage, or if it's just somebody that you like and you think they like you back. You want to make sure and pay attention to this. If they're not really seeming to want to prioritize spending time with you, then maybe you need to rethink the relationship and rethink whether you should invest and whether they're worth your time. Especially if it's a matter of they're always like fooling around playing video games and doing things where they could definitely choose you over video games, then that is definitely an issue. I mean, it's, you know, definitely with schoolwork and homework and all that, there's gonna be times when maybe they really can't hang out with you. That's understandable, but if they really value you and spending time with you, then they should be able to carve time out of their day to spend time with you. So that's definitely something that you need to watch for. And next we have, if you can't stop thinking about your last crush while dating. So this isn't necessarily a huge red flag, but it's something to pay attention to, because I've always kind of believed like whoever you had a crush on last, if you start dating someone new and you really think they're the one, and they're really treating you the way that you deserve, and you really think you're gonna marry them, chances are you're gonna completely forget about the last person that you were into. So if they're still on your mind, I'm not necessarily saying that it's a really bad sign, but it's just something to keep an eye on and think about, okay, why can't I get my last crush out of my head? Is it because maybe they would have or were treating me better than this person is, you know? And don't get me wrong, it's not, I don't think it's a bad thing while you're dating someone to notice someone else and think, oh, that person is attractive. But if you're like super like daydreaming about other people or the last person you had a crush on while you're seriously dating someone, that's not a good thing. That's something that could be a problem, and you definitely just need to look into it and think about, okay, why can't I stop thinking about this person? And just, you know, make sure if anything is going on with that. Okay, and our next one is not listening when you offer help or suggestions. And this is going on with what I said about if they lose stuff and you're trying to offer solutions for how to keep track of things, and if they don't want to accept your help. This is kind of going along with that. So if you are trying to be helpful, like, hey, I noticed this behavior keeps happening, or this keeps happening, you know, whatever it is, whether it's like, hey, you keep losing your keys, maybe if we did this, and they don't want to listen to you, that's a problem. Whether it's helping them keep track of something that they lose track of on a regular basis, or whether it's, you notice, hey, we're always late for stuff, so why don't we plan ahead? And, you know, if we left 5 minutes earlier, or maybe if we go to this gas station for a drink instead of this one because this one's closer to where we're supposed to be anyways, or plus they have a better drink selection or whatever, and they don't want to, you know, and they get irritated, or they just want to do things their own way, then that's not a good thing, because honestly, you're just trying to help. And if they're going to be like that and it's going to make you feel invalidated, then you definitely need to rethink the relationship and think about, okay, what's going on that this person like doesn't want to listen to me when all I'm doing is trying to help. Especially if they're the controlling type who's always going to tell you what to do, and then when you're trying to nicely suggest to them what they should do, they just get mad. That is definitely not okay, and it's something that you need to be really watching out for, and you definitely need to notice if that comes up and think about, you know, whether or not this is the type of person that you should be investing your time in. Okay, and going along with that is if they can't or won't learn from their mistakes and they just get mad when you are right again. So this kind of goes along with you trying to offer suggestions or help, and then if they don't want to listen, and then whatever it is you were trying to fix happens again, and then they just get mad. And that is definitely something that you need to look out for, and that's not okay. If you make a suggestion and they don't want to go for it, and then exactly what you knew would happen if they didn't do it, that's exactly what ended up happening. And then if they're just mad that you're right again, instead of being able to learn from their mistakes, that's not a good thing, because they're more likely to see you as like a parent who's going to be like, oh, I told you so, when really you have their best interests at heart, and they need to know that you're not just being like this so that they'll quit doing whatever it is so that you're happier. This is going to help them be better in life and for other people too. Whether it's, oh, we need to, the scenario I said earlier, if we go to this gas station instead of that gas station because this one's closer to where we're gonna go, and then they get mad and they still want to go to the other gas station, and then we're late, and then they're like, oh, you're right again, instead of being like, oh wow, okay, you were right, yeah, we're really late, yeah, we really should have gone to that other gas station instead, you were right, that one was way closer and we would have been more on time, because this made our journey longer by 10 minutes or whatever. That would have cut our journey in half or whatever, and they learn from the mistake and they don't do it again. That's, you definitely need to watch for. There's nothing wrong with suggesting, hey, I think if we do this, we might be late. Why don't we do this instead? Or why don't we do this after we do this so we're not late for this? That's totally fine to offer suggestions if they genuinely, maybe they're not in the right mindset today or they're not thinking. The problem is if they refuse to accept what you're saying, or if they just get mad, if they want to do it their way anyway and then just get mad when, oh, well, you're right again, instead of being willing to accept their mistake and learn from it. That is a big difference. Alright guys, so I'm looking at how long this video is getting, and I think I'm going to stop there for today. And the next video I post after you've seen this one will be the part 2.1 or something. So yeah, for now, that is going to be it for this video. And if you want to see more red flags that you need to be watching for in your relationship, then make sure to stay subscribed to my channel and give this a thumbs up, and tune in to my next video. You're watching this on a Saturday, and so tune in on Tuesday for the next and probably final part in this little series. I'm sorry there's been so many videos of this and they're so long, but honestly there are just a lot of important things that I learned throughout my life that I just want to share with others, because it's stuff that I might not have known was a problem until I lived through it. So I just want to share and educate with you guys. So tune in on Tuesday for the next part of this series, if you will. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.